confused, dismayed, and stranded in real trouble. That is how this group of pilgrims found themselves after it had surfaced that the person who had brought them to Nigeria under the guise of a Synagogue Church of All Nations tour coordinator had actually lied, duped, and defrauded them.
Looking completely unremorseful, this is a South African woman who has defrauded all these people and more of hundreds of thousands of rand under these false pretense of being a tour guide of the Synagogue Church of All Nations.
As you listen to their experiences, viewers, beware of fraudsters. They are real.
My name is Lucy Nechisauru. I'm from South Africa. I was introduced by a friend when I wanted to come to Synagogue Church of All Nations. She told me that there is somebody who's an agent who can take me simple, not being interviewed by people from SCOAN. The woman is Rose. She is coming from South Africa, but she stays mostly in Pretoria. Firstly, I paid 13,500 for the flight and accommodation. I was told to pay another 6,000, which I was told that I will get it when I come back from Nigeria. That is the money that I paid. But to my surprise, we were supposed to board the plane by past 6 in the morning. I was at the airport by 7:15. She was nowhere to be found. When I phoned her, she said to me, "I'm just around. Can't you see the bags?" I was looking around. There was no bags for her. Until past 9, when she arrived, the plane was already gone. We went to the desk of Arik flight. We checked. They told us that the tickets were not booked. I told them that I'm not going back home because next week I will be writing the exam. I'd rather go to SAA and ask for a ticket. If they've got a space, I will pay for myself and come back here, because she told me that my name is on the invitation list from Synagogue of Nation. That's why I was so interested to come, that I've got already received the invitation, which I was not shown. I was believing to her that she got my invitation. So when I went to SAA desk, there was a lot of space, but I couldn't leave my friend behind because they were also keen to come here. I paid 4 of them. The other lady paid 3 of them. The money that I paid, it was 5,400 per person, on top of 13,500 which I paid, and 6,000 which I paid. This morning, I've paid 22,000 for 4 people rents, for 4 people to come here.
Were you shown any evidence from the Synagogue Church of All Nations that indeed the church had invited you?
No, not anything that I can remember.
And what representation did she make to you where your money was going that you were paying her?
She told us that when we go back, she will claim the money for us, because part of the money was paid to Synagogue Church of Nation for our accommodation.
Okay, and can you explain to us, when you arrived in Nigeria at the airport here in Lagos, what happened?
When we arrived there was nobody from SCOAN, as we knew that if we are going there at the Synagogue Church of All Nations, we know normally that we'll get somebody, representative from Synagogue Church of All Nations, that will accept us and take us to the Synagogue Church of All Nations. But to our surprise, there was nobody. She phoned somebody. We don't know who was she phoning to. But to our surprise, we see this man coming in. The man sitting next to me. When we asked her, she said to us, the man is at the garage with the cars. We thought this man is from Synagogue of Church of All Nations. But to my surprise, those people are coming from Synagogue of All Nations. They are wearing something which indicates that these people are coming from Synagogue of All Nations. So this one, he's not having anything indicates that he's coming from SCOAN. That's why even the vehicles that we were using is a private taxi. 3 people were supposed to be here with us. They returned back on their way to Pretoria on Tuesday evening. They paid 13,500 times 2 because the third person is a kid. She's very, very sick. And then they were not having that 6,000 which they're supposed to pay. I paid for them 12,000 for them to be here because I felt that that baby need a deliverance. Now they are not here because she told them that they cannot come because the invitation is not yet back from SCOAN. They have not yet received the money. I'm going to claim all my money from her. She still have the passports for those who didn't come here because they were, and the money, they were calling her. She was not answering their phones. I feel so angry, but in the other part, I'm so happy because I've just arrived at SCOAN.
The woman we have just heard from has lost the most as she had tried to pay for others to come to the Synagogue Church of All Nations who could not afford the overpriced trip offered. Unbeknown to her that she was dealing with an impostor, and the Synagogue Church of All Nations was unaware of both her intended visit and the others she was to travel with, some of which are seated here. Still bitter from her ordeal, this woman still has more to say.
What I can say is that don't ever accept somebody as a coordinator without being interviewed by the representative from Synagogue Church of All Nations before you came to Synagogue Nigeria Church of All Nations. I've realized that she's not a representative from SCOAN Synagogue Church of All Nations. I don't know what was her plan, because this plan is not God's will. The way she's doing it, I wonder whether she knows God or not. If she fears God, she wouldn't be here with us knowing that she didn't do what is expected from her. So I'm telling to my fellow South African, be careful. If you want to come to Synagogue Church of All Nations, be patient until you receive a proper invitation from Emmanuel TV Joshua's ministry in Lagos, Nigeria. Don't take shortcut. If you want to know what is best for you, follow the right channel. God's time is the best.
Another woman who was a victim of this horrendous case of fraudulent deception and avarice was willing to speak out about her terrible experience in the hands of these ruthless people who claimed to be representatives of the church.
My name is Ntaye Miriam Matlako from Limpopo. Rose is the person who claimed to be a SCOAN coordinator from South Africa. All the people who are sitting here, we don't know each other. We only met this morning, except the white guy there, Jerry. I went to Rose's place because I left my house on the 4th of September 2012, and then Rose told us that we are leaving on the 8th of September 2012. So on the 6th, I phoned her, trying to finalize the time. What time are we going to leave? Then she said, Mommy, we can't go because there's another 6,000 for repatriation fee which is needed. And by that time, I've already paid her 13,500 plus addition 6,000, making a total of 19,500. And I'm not working. And the money, I asked my daughter who's working that go and apply for a loan so that I should go to Synagogue Church of Nations because my marriage is scattered, my business is scattered. So my daughter now is facing to pay the loan in the bank, and the trip didn't materialize. We waited another 2 weeks. She said we will leave after 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, we couldn't come again. She postponed the trip. After that 2 weeks, there was a time of floods in Nigeria. And then I said, where are you? She said, I just received a phone from men of God, from Emmanuel TV Joshua, that there are floods, we can't come there. Floods in Nigeria, we can't go there. Okay, fine. Within 5 minutes, I received another call. The person said he was phoning from SCOAN, Nigeria, notifying us not to come because of the floods.
The lady expresses her grief as the woman claiming to be a Synagogue Church of All Nations coordinator had demanded 19,500 rand for her trip to Nigeria, an amount so large she needed her daughter to take a bank loan to secure the money. As if that was not enough, the fraudster had severally postponed the trip, citing the recent flooding which had hid Nigeria as her excuse. She also arranged for a false person to call from Nigeria, acting as a Synagogue Church of All Nations representative, telling her not to come due to the floods, whereas these recent floods had not come to the area of the Synagogue Church of All Nations in Lagos.
When the time goes on again, we were supposed to come here on the 27th of October. That was when the program at SCOAN changed. We received messages notifying us because of the program which are changed at SCOAN. You cannot come on the 27th. You will come on the 7th of November. Then, because we know, we saw the announcement on the television, we saw everything, we believed that we will go. Then she said, okay, we will go on the 7th of November. It's today. 10 to 6, we arrived at the airport. I waited. I was alone. 6:30, 7 o'clock. I phoned her. The phone is off. I started to panic because many things have happened. Then I approached this lady. But I suspected maybe she's one of us because I saw her going up and down, panicking. At the airport, I approached her and greeted her. I asked her, are you also going to Nigeria? She said, yes. I said, hey, and me too. Who's your agent? She said, Mrs. Makok. I said, oh, even myself, Mrs. Makok. I said, okay, even me, we are waiting for her. Then we went there, all of us. We went to South African Airways. We paid extra 5,060 rands each for new tickets, apart from 19,500, which we rent, which we paid Miss Makoka. We boarded the flight. We came. When we arrived at Lagos at the airport, we knew that something was not right. We knew. If she couldn't show us the air tickets, it seems where we are going, there are no bookings. Then when we arrived at Lagos, then this man came, and then they shook hands. I think he does business with him, because when you come and meet someone and you give a smile from a distance and you shook hands, the impression was they know each other. When we left the airport, she made us believe that this man is part of SCOAN workers. When we got to the synagogue, we entered, and then they welcomed us nicely, and then they asked us did we book for reservations. And then we showed the ladies our so-called coordinator, that she's the one who knows everything. And then they spoke to her. That was when we were certain that she did nothing.
On arriving to the Synagogue Church of All Nations, they realized the lady who claimed to be an agent of the Synagogue Church of All Nations was fake and has made none of the reservations they had each paid almost 20,000 rand for.
All I can say to the world and South African citizens is that we be very careful of fraudsters. Fellow people like Rose, who claimed to be a coordinator from SCOAN and collected monies from innocent people like myself not working, follow the procedure. Don't take shortcuts.
Let us listen to this man who also fell victim to the fraud.
My name is Harry Carstens. I'm from South Africa. After I get the accident, so with my wife, she met Rose Makota, and she claims all over they going by people, they ask for money for wanting water, they collecting money by people. So my wife, the small business she doing, the money she collect is the one she give to her. People from South Africa sell different places, and that way they collect the money, tell them now they're going to bring her wanting water, and that she says she's a manual partner. And she go and collect money from people, and that everyone calling her. Sometimes they meet her by the flood, bring for wanting water. That's why I'm not working, and that now my wife going every time, so she give her small money, so let she can, so until now, I can go also to come here to Nigeria, and that. I cannot tell you even how much is the amount, what she really, when the wife come in the night, so she come there, there's not even food for the babies. must make, there's no even food for them. But she must give her money and that. And every time I tell my wife, don't give more money and that, she said, no, because Violet, you cannot go in and that, so that she must give her money and that.
Okay, so where did she claim she was taking you to when you left South Africa?
Yeah, she was come and tell me, no, she gonna bring me here to Senegal Church from a nation here in Nigeria. And why she's... And money is paying here, everything here, even the booking where you're going to stay here, she say no, is also is in the church itself. But so far what we're knowing, she was never even buy a ticket for flight and that with that money what she collecting for people, because we must never see a ticket and that. She's really a fraudster and that she cannot be a manual partner and that. So the only thing I can say for the viewers here by South Africa and that, be careful. Don't mix with fraudsters and that, like Rose Makota and that. There's a one thing you can learn a lesson by this lady.
The man explained that he had been out of work for some time due to an accident he had sustained, and that it had been his wife who was doing some small business that had been paying money to the fraudster over a period of time for her husband's trip to the Synagogue Church of All Nations. He knew the woman in question as someone who used to receive people's money, promising to bring them the anointing water, which is a free gift given free of charge at the Synagogue Church of All Nations, alongside with the DVDs and sermons of the ministry. Here you can read some of the text messages the fraudster had sent to her victims concerning the rescheduling of their visit to the church. Next, let us hear from this man, the Nigerian accomplice of the fraudster who assisted them from the airport in a taxi.
My name is Magnus Eke. I'm from Imo State. So I sell and I meet Sister Rose at the Hostel Corner Hotel, owned by my brother.
When did you meet this woman, Rose?
Last 3 months ago, when he come to the one lodge at the hotel. So that's where I meet her. So I used to help her that time and buy things outside the hotel, bottle waters and other things. So when he's going back, he's telling me when he will come back, he will call me. I will help her to call a ties drop. And when this evening he called me that he's in the airport. Where are they? I said I'm coming to the airport. So when I meet her there, as somebody that I know, I give her a handshake and they ask me to call them the taxi drop. So I went and called them to taxi drop.
After listening to the accomplice, the fraudster, who had been sitting down with a distant, unconcerned look on her face and refused to admit to her wicked act, was confronted and asked to open her luggage for inspection by her angry victims, who, now having seen her trickery exposed, demanded their money back.
I wanted to know where my money is. This is a proof that I've paid you the money into your account, which is called Ubani Investment. Where's the money? Give me my money.
I'll give you when we go back.
What will happen to me? Where are we going to sleep? Where are we going to sleep? We don't have money for the accommodation. We paid you even a flight to come here. You told us that the money that we give it to you, you pay to Synagogue Church of All Nations. So where is the money now? Because you didn't pay any cent. The church have never received any cent from you. Where is our money?
Understandably frustrated, the woman produced the payment receipts, proving that she had paid money into the fraudster's account. On demanding to know where her money was and what she had done with it.
Where is my money? You know my daughter took loan from the bank.
On inspection of the devious woman's luggage, certain documents were found. A letter to the Nigerian embassy asking for a 3-week visa for the victims, and a document of purchase for a property in South Africa, along with the acceptance of a payment of 1,400,000 rand. Not only were these documents found, but she was also in possession of a further 3 persons' international passports, other victims of her scam, who were not finally able to make the expensive journey. With such overwhelming evidence, the lady confessed to her crime.
My name is Rose Makoka from South Africa. I'm a fraudster. I lied to you that I lied to you that I bring money here in synagogue. There is nothing like that. I never bring any cent in synagogue. I use the money for my expensive thing. I buy house. I buy clothes. I pay rent. This man is my partner in crime. He used to pick us at the airport to take us to the hotel.
In her hands, the incriminating evidence of the passports, property deal, invitation letter, and various different ATM cards.
This is not the first time. I've been duping many people's money. I want God to forgive me. I put money in my account and use it. This is not my first time of doing this. I put their money in my account. This is not my first time. I use money to buy a house. I sell anointing water to people in South Africa. I lie that I'm a Emmanuel TV partner, and I spray anointing water to people. Please, people of God, forgive me.
She kneels down to beg for forgiveness.
Please, people of God, forgive me. Forgive me. I'm sorry for duping people's money.
Finally hearing the truth from the woman they had given their money, passports, and trust as a supposed representative of the ministry to bring them to the Synagogue Church of All Nations, emotions got the better of them, and tears told the anguish they felt within them at this hardened criminal's treachery.
I'm not finding myself duping people's money because this is a spirit of stealing.
After the confession had been made and news of the case brought to Prophet TB Joshua, the man of God decided to intervene and help not only the stranded victims, but also the fraudster herself, fully paying their accommodation, feeding and transportation costs for the duration of their stay in Nigeria at the Synagogue Church of All Nations.
So we have listened to each and everyone's confession here today, and these people are here. They have left their country, South Africa, and they find themselves in the hand of a fraudster. And now they are here stranded in another country. They have no money for accommodation. They have no money for food or any of the expenses here in Nigeria. So out of compassion, Prophet TB Joshua has offered them accommodation. He is paying for their accommodation, their feeding. He has even provided security for their safety. And he's paid all their expenses for the duration of their stay here, as well as their transportation back to the airport to their country.
Viewers, learn a lesson from the painful experience of these people. Beware of fraudsters and impostors claiming to be representatives of the Synagogue Church of All Nations or Prophet TB Joshua. Unfaithful people are epidemic. They are everywhere. As the book of John, chapter 6, from verse 32 to 36 says, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." Jesus Christ is the truth. As the truth, he is the source. Just as truth is older than terror, so it shall survive it. Truth got the start, and it will get the race. To God be the glory.